Hold on. It starts. This is the Black Powder Podcast. Coming at you live and direct. Your salty tears season my life. It's the Black Powder Podcast. And once again, it's on. It's the Black Powder Podcast. I'm Marcus Matthews, the only real libertarian on the only real libertarian podcast. And I'm joined tonight, and I know this is going to shock a lot of you people when you see as you see their faces. I have with me today Tub. What the heck did Tub just do? I had Tub. Hear us.
Hey, as usual,
why does that happen?
I was gonna warn Jamie, like, hey, just so you know, Tub's gonna have to dip out and come back in because that Florida internet. I don't know what it is.
No, I think he's the resident boomer. And
still doing this on like
as an IT
Kindle
guy. Yeah.
He's got an Amazon Kindle he's doing this from.
He might be on his what is Commodore 2C.
I think he needs a firmware software update. Whatever. You're the IT guy.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
At any rate, Eric, glad you can make it tonight. You were a bit under the weather last week. So
sorry I missed last week. I wasn't feeling very well when I got off work and I came home and a lot of times you get the man flu and your wife's like, oh, really? Don't be a baby. But she told me, and this is the truth, Marcus. I was like, I don't feel good. She's like, yeah, sure. And then I was like, I don't think I'm going to be able to do the podcast. And she knew when I said that, say, oh, he means it. So just so you know, my wife, that's not a lie. She's like, next day, I was like, yeah, I feel a lot better when I got up to go to work. It's like, I knew you didn't feel good just because you missed the podcast. So sorry I missed last week. I feel a lot better.
What's that, Amity?
Can you hear us? Tub.
Eric, yes, you look as pretty. Eric, you are as pretty as ever.
All right. Can you hear us? I didn't ask if you could see us.
Yes.
Tub.
Yes.
Tub, are you having a stroke?
I'm thinking about it, to be honest with you. I'm considering, like, can you self-induce a stroke?
I hope so. That's good.
Stroke. Hey, Tub,
hey,
can you give us summarize in one paragraph your experience? That's 4 sentences for you public education people. Summarize your experience at National.
We'll give you a minute.
Okay, so a lot of the National was typical National. Okay, now bear in mind this is only the second
Marcus
time
doesn't know what that means.
Well, listen, people know what that means. People know what that means. Here's the thing. So I have a different outlook on it than a lot of other people do because some people go there like serious about business. I don't do that.
Yeah.
I kind of go there because listen, I'm playing and trying my next moves and things inside the party, and so this was a good time for me to kind of get there, have some real conversations, stuff along those lines. You know what I'm saying? So I was able to get those things done. I think ultimately, I think it went well. I think it went well. I think, am I supposed to tell you how I feel about all of it, like our new leadership and everything, or that's not the conversation we're having?
No, that'll
Okay.
dip into our guest time.
We might ask her and have that conversation.
Other than that, I think it went well. I think that overall it was not as much drama as expected, in all honesty.
Well, there was a lot of drama that I saw, but
there was. Let me be very clear. There's always going to be some. Okay, let's not deny that. But I think that I think I was going with an expectation because I'd had different conversations with different people in the lead up When we have time, I can tell you about my conversation that I had briefly with Jeremy Kaufman and stuff.
Why?
Oh,
I gotta be honest. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan.
well, I don't want to.
I don't need to go back to Africa.
Dude. So yes, Joe, I did.
She's 1.9%.
I was accused.
Yeah, she got to go back too.
I'm looking at
Joe's comment. I was accused of establishing a coup that got Joe in position. We're talking. So many things.
Hey, before we get too into the weeds, why don't we bring our guest in? She could be a part of the conversation. She was there, I think.
Oh, she was there?
All right. So without further ado, we're going to go to, last week I messed up Virginia as a Commonwealth. Is Pennsylvania any kind of special thing?
I don't think so.
Here we go. Jamie Frost Remmey. Did I say that right?
Remmey, yes.
That's one of Tubbs' favorite drinks, by the way. He used to mix it with Kool-Aid and drink it with the brothers in Connecticut.
All right, let's.
I
don't even know what a Remmey is.
Yeah.
What?
Okay. Remy Martin. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Pennsylvania is also a Commonwealth.
That is correct.
What does that even mean? I know Kentucky is, thanks to Thomas Massey.
And Virginia.
No
So
one cares.
look, we have these clubs free. If you were, I didn't mention. I'm sorry, I didn't mention. I mentioned the pre-show where I was not.
He is.
I'm in a tiny house in my backyard. Free, mind your business. Listen, I'm in Florida. I need a mobile home, like for real.
For the record,
just waiting for the storm to show up and knock me around.
As a true libertarian, and I hope you don't get fined for this, Tubb didn't get permits for that tiny house like a real libertarian.
Why you got to put that out there?
He's already said it
Anyway.
publicly.
Let it be known there was no permission asked for nor granted.
We have Jamie. She is running for Congress in what district in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania?
That would be Pennsylvania's first congressional district.
Awesome.
How far are you from Philadelphia?
About 30-minute drive.
Okay, and that's not
in what direction?
We are
There's only one direction.
the northeast of Philadelphia. So we actually border New Jersey.
Ugh.
So just directly north, and so there's no other.
I'm going to hand this over to Eric, but I have to make this
whole thing up. It's already.
I got to make this point real quick. I absolutely hate the state of New Jersey.
Everyone does. Are you kidding?
It is the worst state to drive in the whole of the United States. And I drove in Pittsburgh one time, and I damn near died about 45 times going through tunnels and bridges and everything like that.
Hold on. The thing that I like about the New Jersey Turnpike is it usually goes pretty fast.
Number one, that's a no. Number two, if you miss your exit, if you miss your exit, you got a good 25 miles to think about it.
Yeah.
So, Jamie, I usually start this off with a different question, but I'm going to start off here. Are you open to your first act in Congress to build a wall around New Jersey? You open to that?
I am very open to a lot of things, and that, and possibly California.
Hey.
Uh-oh.
We should just let Japan or Canada have California.
Wait. Marcus, what do you have to say about California?
We're the fourth largest economy in the world, and if it wasn't for
that
us,
money, with that money, pull the Trump card and say we're going to make California pay for the wall.
I mean,
California doesn't want the wall. They're fine with it.
We want it though.
They're embracing it. So I think it's easier just to put a wall around California.
All right, so if you guys want to pull,
earthquake could happen and just send it out into the ocean. Just let it go.
If you guys want to do that to California, you will no longer get our fruits and nuts.
But listen, you can keep y'all's nuts in there, all right? And you can take that however you want. All right?
Yeah.
We don't want time y'all.
Back to Jamie.
All right. So Jamie, I usually always start off our podcast, so now I feel like we're having a lot of fun with this one already. But usually say, hey, can you give us kind of your, not an elevator pitch, take as much time as you want, but try to explain to our fans, all three of them, how
three?
you, yeah,
We
free or three?
Free, Amity, and Joe Hanoush.
Exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
Anyways,
That's about it? All right,
no, I'm
got
just
it.
kidding. How you came to know about libertarianism? What made you decide to join the party? And what made you decide to run for office as a libertarian?
Okay, so I came to the party basically. I think my brother-in-law was a die-hard Dr. Paul fan. And so he took us to see Dr. Paul speak at the Constitution Center in Philadelphia in 2012. He was very active in his campaign. And I'd always been an independent, and just everything that he said resonated with me. And so I decided that I would look more into libertarianism, and I changed my party affiliation, and I didn't actually become active in the party until about, I guess it was around COVID. And I got involved with Joe Jorgensen's campaign up in the Pocono Mountains, which is just outside of New York City, the upper part of New Jersey area. And I had gotten involved with the Libertarian Party there and helped get Joe Jorgensen on the ballot in Pennsylvania. So I got active as the treasurer of the Monroe County Libertarian Party. And then when I moved back home to Bucks County here, I maintained my activity level. I'm the treasurer of the Bucks County Libertarian Party. I have been since 2023. And it's such a straight, I don't know how I decided to run for office. It kind of just came organically. I never wanted to be a politician. It was nothing that I'd ever, envisioned doing for my life. I'm a very natural people person. I performed a lot as a child on doing theater and stuff. So I have a very outgoing personality. I'm not shy. And I watched, we attempted to run somebody in Bucks County against the incumbent that we've had is appalling. He's just an awful representative for the district here. And he is very unliked universally. And so we decided to run somebody back in 24 against him. And we took advantage of this young man's name because his name is Bradley Cooper, like the actor. And Bradley is such an amazing young man. He actually helped establish the Bucks County Libertarian Party, and he's just a real go-getter. And so Bradley Cooper, the actor, had actually just moved into Bucks County. So we thought, let's try and take advantage of the name and just see if we can get him on the ballot and just get him some votes just for his name. And he was mercilessly just tortured and railed. And I watched it and I thought it was just absolutely awful. And as we were coming up on another election cycle, I just kept getting this feeling that it was my turn. I was ready to take one for the team. And the more I started to realize it was something I was thinking of doing, the more I just started to pick up steam and realize that I can do this. I know I can. I'm strong enough to do this. I am not influenced by power. I'm not influenced by money. I'm pissed off just enough to speak to the people. And I'm one of the people here in this community. I work really hard. I've had lots of jobs. I struggle every day to pay my bills because the rising cost of absolutely everything. And I think it's about time we start putting real people back in government. We have so much money infused in these elections and influencing our politicians right now, whether it be from lobbies or PACs. And I found it frustrating that we don't have very many people of character in the halls of Congress any longer. And I want to go in there and I want to disrupt some things. So I figured, let's go. Let's get this thing going.
Why not? Tub?
Why not?
Hey, Look how ghetto I am. I don't even have a notepad. I have an envelope. Like, remember, like when you were growing up, were there notes always on the back of envelopes from the mail and everything?
Oh yeah.
I would
Mark
write
has
on
a-
my hand.
We were allowed to write on ourselves. Let's be very clear. We were little ghetto children, but we were allowed to write on ourselves. All right. So listen, let's start with the fact that Marcus also spent a lot of time growing up in theater. So Marcus is a theater boy too. So inside of that,
I played football all the way up into college.
Why is that so?
Jocks can be theater nerds too.
he's
For the
not a
record-
jock, though. It's Marcus.
Hell no, not in the 90s.
No, you're right.
We had jocks in
Those
theater.
worlds did not connect.
No.
That was a clash. You know where those worlds connected? In the hallway when one was throwing the other one around.
Yeah.
That's when those worlds connected.
We're from
right.
the era of bullying.
Yeah. And it was fine. It was fully
It was
acceptable.
perfectly fine to bully
And actually,
people.
listen, all right, it's not. We can have that conversation later because that actually keeps things flowing in a positive, moving way. It's when you have bullies.
It's a natural balance of life.
It is.
Hey,
All right,
listen,
now,
it's character development.
It is.
and he certainly
Sink
is a
or
character.
swim. Sink or swim.
Hey,
Yeah.
I thought this was my turn.
Yeah, go ahead,
Right, my
man.
turn.
You started talking
My turn.
about
All right.
one of my favorite
Yeah.
subjects, bullying.
All right,
Hey,
so
Can I mute
look, bullying is
Marcus?
fine. Bullying has its place. All right, now
Marcus, mute yourself.
please. All right, so actually, I started that one. That one's on me. All right, so here's
There's
the
a
thing.
button.
Now,
No,
Now?
go ahead. Tom.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So listen, I've been gone for about a month, and man, it's been a pleasant month. Now, inside of that, so you mentioned about how you're running because you see what it's like to struggle to pay your bills and stuff along those lines. And we can agree that government doesn't feel that way because they have endless funds because of us. So as you know, that some DC has a way of saying that they're cutting spending when they say, hey, we wanted, instead of having $1 million budget, we're going to, or we wanted a $2 million budget, we're going to cut that back and only do 1.5 million. So we cut the budget. So
That's
let me
an
ask you
actual
this in twofold.
increase.
How do you feel about spending in DC? What do you feel about not increasing any budgets, not increasing spending? And in that, what would you do if you're on the side of we want to decrease spending, which that would be the wise answer here. So if you want to decrease spending, what are some ways that you would be able to do that?
Believe me, I would love to be able to give you a good answer because I don't think anything's being done in Congress. And I don't know that anything I'm going to be able to do is going to effectuate any change. But the fact is that we need to, I loved the spirit of what Doge was about. Because the fact is that there is so much wasteful spending. Every country in this world benefits from from a welfare state from us, including half of a massive majority of the population of this country. We need to have hard conversations with ourselves here, and we need to hard stop a lot of government programs and a lot of government welfare, corporate welfare. We have to stop sending money overseas. We have a lot of problems here in this country, all the way down to infrastructure issues. So I would say hard things like I don't think we should be spending any money until we can figure out how to balance a budget. The fact is we're just it's like giving a credit card to a teenager and then just thinking, okay, we can increase the spending limit. It's not a logical solution. We need to cut back on a lot of federal programs, and we need to reduce the size and the scope of the federal government in order to try and cap a lot of the spending.
And what are some areas you would suggest that in?
A big area, I think that the Department of Education is a serious problem. I worked as a substitute teacher for a little while when I was transitioning back from when I moved back from the Poconos. And when I was looking for a job, I decided to substitute teach while I found something that was suitable that I enjoyed doing. And the teachers are not happy, and they are not well equipped in the classroom. They're spending a lot of their own money, and I really believe that it's from this bloated bureaucracy that we're supporting. I don't think it's necessary to have a federal Department of Education because we don't all fit the same mold. These need to be smaller scale operations. So we need to bring things back to smaller state-run, community-run operations. The federal government has outgrown its usefulness. Every 3-letter agency that we have on the board, I'd be happy to cut.
Hey, we have a question for you from our producer and guest coordinator, the great Joe Hanush.
Hello, Joe.
He says, should the federal government spend more money on war? And I think that's a fascinating question.
We should definitely. I mean, we should have an unending funnel of cash flow to foreign intervention.
Thank you for that.
No.
Hey,
No.
That might get you some campaign funding.
But honestly, that's like people. It's like, hold on, somebody bring me some PAC money over here. No,
she just got her $7,000. So.
Yeah, it's APAC.
Lockheed Martin check should be going in the bank account right now.
It's absolutely appalling the amount of money that we spend sending men and women to die. It makes me sick. That's why I'm a huge fan of Defend the Guard legislation. I think that it would really rein in a lot of what's going on, but Congress has to do their job. They are allowing. We've lost sight of what the 3 branches of government actually stood for, and Congress is allowing the executive branch to just walk all over them. They're not exercising their congressional rights. They're not holding people accountable. They could stop this war now if they'd stop funding. They could cut funding to Israel right now, and they're not doing it. They need to do their job. And they need somebody in there that's not scared to say
it. We just got uninvited to the UFC match on the White House lawn, by the way. I just want
to. All of us or just you?
No, all of us. I don't know if Eric got his APAC bashing in, but I want to just segue into this real quick. If you're tired of Washington, D.C. sending money to foreign lands and spending money on people to liberate them when they wouldn't get up off their ass and liberate themselves, click the link that I've just posted right here, Jamie Frost Remmey /donate. That is a way better use of your hard-earned money, is to support a candidate who's going to make sure your hard-earned money that is stolen by the government does not get spent in the wrong way. So there's the link right there. Put your memes where your
put your money where your memes are.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Tub. I screwed that up. I screwed that up royally.
Thank you, Tub,
and that's your tagline, dude. That's you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
it is.
In the words of Biden, whatever Marcus said.
We have another question here, and I think this is an important one. Should the federal government spend money? Yeah.
I say, let me read it. You already messed up.
Okay, go ahead. My bad.
You already messed up enough, Marcus. Reading's not your strong suit.
Hey, should the federal government spend money on incarceration of people for simple cannabis possession?
We have so many nonviolent offenders in prison now. All it's doing is creating criminals. So I believe we need to end the war on drugs, first of all, and we need to stop legislating ourselves into making peaceful people criminals. Just not paying your taxes makes you a criminal and could put you in jail. So I really don't think that nonviolent offenders should be serving prison sentences, because all it's doing is creating a criminal out of them. They're not coming out as rehabilitated citizens. They no longer are able to find jobs. They're becoming a burden on their families because of that. And all it does is it makes them more dependent on the government, and it makes their family more dependent on the government. It's a vicious cycle. It's disgusting, and it's a horrible use of taxpayer dollars. I think that spending and government should not be like synonymous terms, and especially federal spending. The federal spending has got to be reined in significantly.
Word. Tub, you want to read this and then segue into your question, or are we going back to Eric?
Oh, I got stuff if we're ready. How can voters in Jamie's district help her get on the ballot? That's such a Joe Hanush question right there.
Yeah.
Thank you, Joe
Almost.
Henry.
I think you know the answer.
And I am pleading for volunteers. So I have until the end of July to turn in 5,200 signatures in my district. All need to be within the first congressional district. So please reach out to me through my website or any of my social media channels to let me know if you can volunteer on any of the weekends from now until the end of July. I'm putting together teams to go out to different events. I'm going to be door knocking all through the next several weeks in order to try and get on the ballot. So I need boots on the ground. And I'm so thankful for my friend Jeremy Todd, who has shared my X page. I've gotten so many followers as a result, and I've gotten so many requests to see if people can come up and help get those boots on the ground so we can get enough signatures to get on the ballot. We have a really good chance here to get on the ballot and to make some changes here. We have an awful incumbent as a Republican, and then we have a former county commissioner who fell in line with Trump's COVID regime here, putting out so many small businesses out of business here in Bucks County and the Montgomery County area. So we have two very unfavorable candidates. And then me, I'm amazing. So why wouldn't you want to help me get on the ballot?
Word.
Who's the current rep for there?
His name is Brian Fitzpatrick. And I was so blessed to have Dan McKnight give me a shout out on his Defend the Guard podcast, Bring Your Troops Home. He has a special place in his heart for Brian Fitzpatrick, who has a Liberty score of, I think, 27% as a Republican. So he's really winning.
But yeah, get rid of Massey. You know.
Exactly.
Right?
Okay. All right. So all right, you've mentioned it a couple different times now. You talk about how the federal government is a little too big and a little too powerful.
Yes.
What are some things that you would suggest should get taken away from the federal government and kicked back to the states?
Again, like I said, the Department of Education massively. We also need to really scale down our surveillance state. I think we spend a lot of money making a lot of rich men richer in the surveillance state. I mean, just the fact that we have a private company in Palantir that's providing our government, they're not only making money from the government, but they're storing data on us. I think that our surveillance state, so CIA is definitely something that should be cut back on. The IRS is something that we can cut back on. The ATF, that would probably be something we could cut back on as well. Like I said, I'm good with cutting budgets on every single agency that can't account for where their money's going. Any government agency that can't balance their budget and tell me where their money is going shouldn't get another dime.
Now, bear in mind, my question wasn't about budget and it wasn't about spending, is powers. Like what would be better off back to the states? Like the Department of Education, clearly, let each state, they already have it. Each state already has. So what are some other things that you look at the federal government and say, hey, y'all probably should not be involved in this. Let the states decide this.
Well, I mean, honestly, like the healthcare industry, I don't think we need the federal government in the business of regulating healthcare. Mm-hmm. I think that, I also don't think the states necessarily need to be involved in that either, but we shouldn't be in the business of business. The government does not do spending very well. So, like I said, the ATF, I think, we can, the alcohol, tobacco, and firearms, just the whole thing is nonsensical to me. I'm in a state that we still sell liquor in state stores. So I think that even state regulation at that level is still silly. And the drug war is costing us so much money. We should allow the states to make decisions about how they want to do that. I personally think that drugs should be legal. But I don't think that we need federal oversight on that either. States are more equipped at helping people with addiction problems in a smaller way. The fact is that there isn't one size fit all answers for, for most issues. Every area of the country is different. So to have a federal regulation in anything makes very little sense to me, because the things that are going on in California and Florida are vastly different than the things that are going on in
Very much
Pennsylvania.
so, because we're not California. Let's make that abundantly clear.
Thank
Now, can
God.
Can I
Yes.
Or
just
North
add
Carolina, which is where I'm currently
this?
residing.
Yeah.
Oh,
You never
nice.
get
I
included
like
in the
North
mix of
Carolina. That's a
things.
good state.
Yeah.
North Carolina's the
I
new
like-
Midwest. Who cares?
My problem with North Carolina is the liquor is sold in government-run liquor stores.
That's our issue too.
How is
Before I kick
Tubbs
this to
supposed to
Mark,
get his
Said that-
Remy? How is
who's
Tubbs
got-
supposed to
He
get
can
his
I
ain't
just
Remy?
in
say
North
this?
Carolina.
Kool-Aid.
Can I
and they
just say
overtax it.
that-
Anyways,
Doesn't
Right.
the ATF seem like they should have one totally righteous Christmas party? Like, if you think about it, alcohol, tobacco, that should be what kick-tail Christmas party around there.
let's
But
party.
there it is. All right, I'm dipping out for a second. Whose turn is it? Marcus.
It's Eric's.
what-
No, it's Eric.
Eric.
So I'm gonna kind of shift gears. We can go back to second year if we want to. But how much help are you getting from your local affiliate, the LP affiliate, and the state affiliate, with volunteers trying to raise funds, helping you out? 5,200 signatures is a lot in basically a month. I'd say you got 4 weeks to get them. And if you don't got them by then, and realistically, a lot of people know this, Jeremy Todd knows this, you want double the amount of signatures. That's overshooting your target. You're gonna need extras, because Tubb and I know this.
Oh,
A third's gonna get thrown out.
we
So-
know that because historically Brian Fitzpatrick makes sure that as many signatures as possible gets thrown off the ballot. So I am getting a decent amount of assistance from both the state and my local affiliate. I'm on the executive committee of my local affiliate, and I'm the treasurer, so I'm the bully of the
Oh,
crew.
you got all the money you want then.
Yeah.
So I'm trying my
Just
best.
$1 million.
Write that check.
My campaign has about as much money as our local affiliate does. So I have not, I definitely could benefit
Same.
from more donations, and I could definitely benefit from some more volunteers. We're in a tough predicament right now. A lot of people are really struggling financially, and so I really have a lot of compassion for that. And I don't like to bully people I don't know. I only bully people I love. So that's kind of how I've approached getting donations right now. And I've been very lucky to get the help that I have thus far. I'd really like more. I don't even have a campaign manager right now. And that's okay. I think that I'm learning a lot from this campaign. And I think that it will be helpful going into 28, because I do plan to run again. But I do plan on getting on the ballot, and I don't care if I have to knock on every goddamn door in this county. I will, to try and get every signature I possibly can. And whoever can come and help me do that, I would be more than grateful for your time and effort. And I know that I've had quite a bit of an outpouring on X recently from people who have asked how they can help, and offers to send people from other states to come and help us get signatures. So I've seen a lot of love from people nationally. The Libertarian Party, their national page, has been really attentive to getting out my social medias to try and get attention to my campaign. But unfortunately, I haven't seen a lot of donations roll in. And I do hope that changes. I know we are putting a lot of effort into Jeremy Todd getting on the ballot. So I'm really hoping that we can pivot. I know that he's done his best to try and get some attention to me. He's with the two of us got the opportunity to meet at nationals, and we got along sportingly. We really enjoyed each other's company, and we spent quite a bit of time together, because I was lucky enough to be asked to speak at the Rage Against the War Machine rally. So, and everybody wanted to talk to Jeremy at the time. So the two of us kind of bounced around to places together. And developed a friendship. So I'm really, really thankful that he has brought my name up several times on social media, which is getting my campaign more attention. And thank you to you guys for getting me out there as well, because unless people know who I am, will I get any attention?
Right. So I wanted to bring up this. Over the last 2 years, Pennsylvania has elected a crap ton of libertarians to local offices.
We
And
actually have the highest number of elected libertarians in the country.
yeah, and I just wanted to give a suggestion. You know, I think it's pretty low cost, but all of those libertarians, if they could do a 30-second to 1 minute promo for you and just put the message out there, they don't necessarily have to be in your district, but just to saturate the battlefield.
I love
Because
it.
I'm still struggling to understand why Americans are so afraid to vote for a libertarian when the U.S. government under the current duopoly is so much in your wallet. You know, you could talk about a lot of things that's wrong with our government, but currently, for me personally, the fact that I'm paying exorbitant amounts for fuel for my vehicles, as well as watching the grocery prices just skyrocket, I don't understand why Americans do not understand that these people that we keep electing over and over again, the very definition of insanity, are causing these issues. And let's bring a libertarian into the fold whose sole purpose in their political lives is to take the government out of your life and thereby making your life a little bit more affordable.
And not just
I
go ahead.
don't
Sorry.
disagree with that. I think a lot of it has to do with comfort. Our government has brought us to a comfort level where people are scared of change, and so they don't, when they're scared and they fear that change, they don't want to disrupt that comfort regardless of the impending disaster they're about to find themselves in. And so I've had lots of conversations with people whom I've asked to sign to get me on the ballot. And I'm shocked at how many people fight with me about why I shouldn't be entitled to get on the ballot. And one of the reasons being like, well, you're going to spoil the race. I'm like, well, that's kind of what I'm hoping to do.
Well,
like, yeah, I do. I want to disrupt the system here. But people just don't, and a lot of people don't understand the process and don't. I've had a lot of people who are helping me now, like friends that didn't understand any of this and are just shocked at how hard it is to get on the ballot, didn't realize the taxpayer funds actually fund the efforts of the primaries. And that even in my district alone, 1/5 of all voters aren't represented in the primaries because we have 110,000 registered independent and third parties here in my district alone, and almost a virtual split of 206 and 202 in Republicans and Democrats. So this is really, truly a swing area here. That's why we get so much attention in the national news during the election cycles, because we can swing either way because we have such a huge population of independent and third party voters here.
So, yeah, speaking real quick, Eric, I just wanted to get to Amity's comment. She just donated to Jamie's campaign. So I'm challenging somebody to match Amity's energy and donate as well.
We gotta go.
And,
thank you so much, Amity.
Speaking of swinging both ways, who's next? Eric or Tub?
Marcus, keep going. Yeah, Marcus.
No, I'm good. Eric.
Okay. All right. So I just want to say, how much of your campaign effort is focused on those doors of those independents? And if you think about it, it's two birds, one stone. You get a conversation, you get a vote, you get a signature all at the same time. You spread the message. You knock on those. What was the number again? I know you said 1/5.
There's over 100,000, about 110,000.
100,000, and I get it. People will say that won't win the election, but I had it pulled up here. Brian Fitzpatrick got 261. How many of those were independents? This is the last time, I think 2024. How many of those independents chose one or the other, him or the Democrat? And there was the other / write-in got 1,600. You know what I mean? So
Right.
if let's say they split that independent vote between the two of them, essentially you're only 50,000 away from winning. So,
and honestly, the numbers that you have, we have a percentage. We have to do 2% of what the highest vote getter gets, and that's how our signature threshold is determined. And so that was in a presidential election year. So this so traditionally the numbers are going to drop vastly in a municipal year. And my goal right now is to try and I really want to get out to the youngest generation of voters, because they have the numbers to actually make a change in what's happening in our government right now, but they're not getting out to vote. And I understand how lost they must feel, because home ownership is so far out of reach for them, and they're not just they're depressed and they don't see a future. And right now is the opportunity for them to make a real appreciable change by showing up in droves to vote for people that are anti-establishment candidates. And I'm seeing that happen with the Democrats, but unfortunately it's with the Democratic Socialists, and that just is not the way we need to be going. We need to get more conservative and libertarian minded young people out to start voting. And that's who I'm hoping to reach, because I know that they have the numbers to make a difference, because they need to match the boomers. Those are the people that actually get out and vote. And that's who I seem to be having the hardest time with right now.
Well, you're going to have a hard time with Tub.
Yeah, I was saying, when you said boomers,
Florida, you idiot.
I was gonna say,
yeah, I'm not planning on going up to Philadelphia to vote.
I would say, when you said boomers, both Tub and Marcus's ears perked up.
Hey, I have boomer parents, and let me tell you, you should hear us. You've got me, my brother-in-law, and my sister at Sunday dinner with my parents, and they're both boomers, and we've been pounding into their heads for years, and they're finally, waking up. And I think that I was nervous about whether or not they were going to be able to get on board with this, and they have, and they've been very supportive, but they are also seeing how hard it is for third parties to get on the ballot. A lot of people in my sphere are waking up to how hard it is for us as third parties to get our voice out there and to get our voice heard, because we have to work twice as hard as anyone else.
So this is a serious problem, but are they calling their friends if they're in your district? Does that make sense? Like,
yeah,
not just you talking to your direct family, but are they calling their family?
Yeah, they are talking. But oh my God, my mom is great. She's getting on social media and trolling our incumbent for me.
Awesome.
Right. Tub, can you read that question while you go into your segment?
Tub.
Peter Thiel and Musk have swooned about wanting to be leaders. How would you prevent one of them from taking over and making you their subjects?
Well, again, and I'm going to reiterate this, and I will continue to say this. I am not impressed with power, and I am not impressed with money. What impresses me is the things that people do. We have a lot of politicians that talk, and then when they get into when they have the opportunity to do something about it, they don't, because they're courted by power and money. And that is not something that I've ever had, never been impressed with. So I don't see that ever being a problem for me, because that's just not who I am. I have too many principles. I'm guided by too many good principles. My Christian beliefs also would never allow me to betray people. And I'm going to be the worst politician because I can't lie. I'm not a liar. I have not been able to do that successfully without making myself incredibly ill.
All right. So two things. One is Marcus is coming around. Marcus is on the young side of the boomers. Because being 61, he's right there. And so and Marcus is coming around just fine. Also, you should be heavily impressed then by Marcus because he has no power nor money. So you should really be on board with Marcus.
Do you have character though, Marcus? That's the question.
That's questionable.
And what that means is, well, bless his heart. Okay, so inside of this.
My dad was a deacon, by the way.
We're fully
I understand you're a Christian.
You got that in. Look, you said that. Eric said he didn't want to be part of the show anymore.
He's like, I'm out of here.
All right. Now I have look on my envelope, on my ghetto envelope for the
Ghetto.
night.
I love the ghetto envelope.
Remmey and Kool-Aid.
Now you can because I know we're going to be out of time here quickly. This was a quick hour. So I know we're going to be. So I have a number of questions here. You can just, if you want to, just hit us short. Just a brief one, and we'll move on.
We can answer.
First off, let's start with something kind of easy. How is your running as a libertarian? How's it being accepted in the area? Like, are they open to it? Do you find they're still just falling in their R&D world?
Or don't know what it means?
Honestly,
Right.
I think that people are waking up. I think it's slower than I would hope, but I do think that I can bring a good message. I do think that I can relate to a lot of people, and I'm very humble about what it is I know and what I don't know. And so I think that speaks to people because I don't talk to people like I don't know. I'm not going to be the best communicator in regard to policy and everything. I like to listen to what people's thoughts are. I want to hear what people want. And so I think that listening has been my best strategy is hearing what it is that people want. And I think that relating to them that are mutual outcomes. So I think we all kind of want the same thing. So if I can hear out what people are hoping for and then show them exactly how the libertarian philosophy can get them there, I'm definitely finding a lot of people understanding our principles.
Listen, I tell people all the time, I say, listen, I won't have all of the answers, but I'm willing to have all of the conversations.
Exactly.
Like I don't have to pretend like I know everything, but you know what? Let's sit down with people who do. All right. So let me ask you this, as brief as you can. What are your top 2 issues that you're running on?
I want to get the money out of politics. I think that we need a lot more transparency in campaign finance because we have to treat our legislative branch like we do our judges and our attorneys. There needs to be a disclosure of conflict of interest. It's that important as an attorney and a judge to have those disclosures. We need to have that in our politicians as well. You can't be making legislation when you're financially benefiting off that legislation. So that is a massive issue for me. And also, I am very, very anti-war. So I would like to cut all spending for any unconstitutional wars. Congress declares war, not the president.
All right, let me ask this one, and you can kind of answer them together, so you kind of go together, okay? So what is you get into DC, you got the job, you're doing the thing. What is your responsibility back to the people at home, and what do you do if, say, you stand on, all right, let's take the war thing it's a horrible one way to talk about, but let's take it because it's a real thing right now. So first off, what is your responsibility to the people back at home? And what if the people in your district say, hey, we want this war? How do you then go in and vote based on that?
I think that number one, the people who would vote for me and trust me to go to Washington on their behalf would know full well that I would never be interested in a war of aggression. And so they would never ask me to vote for a war that I didn't believe in. And I would hope that that would be an understanding that I would have with my constituents. And I will always be available to them. That is the one thing that is the biggest complaint about our current incumbent is that he is not available. He never comes back here unless he's being reelected. We never see him. ever. He doesn't hold town halls. So I want to be available to the people. I want them to know that I want to hear their concerns, and I will come home. I want to come back home. My family is here. My home is here. I have roots here. And so I will always be here for the people of this district.
All right. So now I just added another thing. Eric, am I good for 2 more fast ones?
Yep, keep going.
Okay. All right. So
Why'd you ask Eric? I'm the host.
we've moved on from that.
Yes,
We've
keep
moved on.
going.
All right. So right there. So now we know that there's an issue, obviously, with people like the ones that Marcus's state puts into office. They get in there and they stay in there forever. Okay. Since we know we're not going to get term limits because they're not due, would you be willing to have self-imposed term limits where you would say, hey,
100%. I actually want the government so small that I'm out of a job one day.
Okay, so that means yes. So let me ask you a question and let me put a number on this thing. So if you get elected, how many terms before you go, hey, I'm done here, guys? What's that number?
Listen, I didn't ever think about a number. And I think that's a great question. And I've also had people say to me, that, and I understand that the idea of it, what if you have a great congressman like Thomas Massey? You don't want to let him go, but, I don't know how I would go up for, I don't think you should spend more than maybe 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
That seems like a reasonable amount of time, right?
Well,
Yeah,
okay.
that's what I was thinking.
And then
I've always said, like, if you have a 10-year career in Congress, doesn't mean you can't run for Senate or governor or go back local. You know what I mean? But I'm just
or
saying,
even if you said, hey, even if the term limit said, hey, you got to get out now, you got to sit out 2 terms or whatever, and if you want to come back again, come on back.
or the people want you to come back again.
Get out.
You know what I mean?
All right. So my last one that I have is actually something that you mentioned already. So you said, which is very true. So people, the younger ones, nowhere is near, even younger than, well, maybe around Eric's age, even younger than Eric. Way younger, like the age. Hang on, like the age of Marcus's kids, because Marcus's oldest child,
new voters,
one he doesn't talk about, because he disowned him because he's a black dad. And so, so what happened is 40 years ago, Marcus went out for milk. And so so Marcus has a 40-year-old.
All right. This is a guy off the. No, that's true.
I got a real question. Okay. So you had mentioned about how, yes, it is hard for them to be able to purchase a home. That's a real issue.
Yeah.
What's your response to it?
My response to them being unable to purchase a home?
Yeah, like what can you do? Does government even have a role in that?
Unfortunately, we have a spending problem in the government, but we also have a money printing problem. So I think that it would benefit everybody to maybe read an economics book. And that's one of the things that we do here in our Bucks County affiliate of the Libertarian Party is the way that we donate to the community is by purchasing lots of books and giving them out at all of our events. I mean, we try and spread around what's government done with our money, because it's a great, simple, quick read that gives you a pretty good idea of what's going on financially. And unfortunately, there's not a lot that we can do right now to get back. I honestly, I can't tell you how to fix this problem. There are smarter people than me that know how to do this, but what we're doing right now is not working. And I would love to be able to say that there's a simple answer to this. There isn't a simple answer to this, because unless we're all ready to make a change, we're not going to see much change happen. So, and I honestly, I don't know how to fix this problem, but I do know that I know enough amazing people in that universe that I can rely on to talk to about it and see what we can do. But I feel like I would be outnumbered in Congress over spending issues. I would never vote to increase the debt, because It's only going to burden the next generation of Americans. And I don't want to see that happen. I'm worried about my nieces and nephews and their kids. So I can't in good conscience say that I want to see our government spend any more money. So I would likely vote against any spending measures that would increase the debt.
So
Well, you can get mad at Tub because it's the boomers. If you analyze, can I excuse me, sir? Excuse
the
me,
government.
You're in court. It's fine, Marcus.
No,
like you need your attorney.
The government.
When you look back upon Thomas Massey's primary, he won with Generation X, Generation Z, the millennials. The reason why he was primaried out was because of boomers like Tub.
Like
Marcus. Listen, it's so easy to blame the boomers for everything. And I find myself drawing at that well, consistently. But the fact is that they are a generation that is not very savvy when it comes to technology. And they're also a generation that is that has been indoctrinated and lied to by their government for so long.
Yeah.
So the fact is, I feel like our president is taking advantage of that. He's consistently lying to them, and their only source of information is Fox News. So that makes us all fucked. So I don't know what to say.
So like, this is a serious conversation, and I wish we had more time. But like, seriously, Marcus, I'm gonna try and use you. I have a 10-month-old daughter, but you got college age kids and college graduate age kids, the age at where someone would be considering buying their first place, right? Like,
well, right now renting because they're still establishing themselves. But yeah, you're right.
But
go
you
ahead.
get my point. Like, they're considering as saving up their down payment.
Right.
Let's think about that. Like, all right, 20% down on your first home. Well, think of the size of government in California and the cost of housing in California. Then think of the size of government in North Carolina. Florida's kind of big, but you get my point. So let's use North Carolina. It's smaller than California. Houses are cheaper in North Carolina. Government's smaller in North Carolina. Does that make sense? Are your kids considering where they're going to live once they establish themselves? And that's a big question for Marcus, and also something for our guest Jamie to consider. Like, hey, back to that economics question. Hey, have you noticed the more involved government is in this area of your life, the more expensive this thing gets? And the larger the government is in this state, this municipality, this country, if you would, the more expensive things are going to get. Marcus, Jamie, go ahead, Jamie.
So rentals are being bought up by large corporations, and the rental prices are astronomical. They're more than what a mortgage would be right now. It's designed that way so that they can't save any money, so that they can't buy homes. Because remember, you're not going to own anything and you're going to like it, because that is what they're trying to create this new world order to look like. They want no one to own anything. The billionaires own everything. And then all you're doing is slaving away, renting, and all you are is consistently consuming and never owning anything.
Yeah.
So I will add to that, because that was spot on. It's not the millennials, it's Generation Z and the whatever they call themselves.
Alpha, I think it is.
Forward. Yeah, Generation Alpha.
And there are no alphas in that generation.
No, it's zero alphas in that generation.
Too many microplastics.
Yeah. What we are seeing here is the end of generational wealth.
Yes, 100%. It's sad.
Yeah, and they will be progressing this nation into a neo-slavery existence. because they're not going to be able to own a damn thing
No.
except their lives, and that will be subject to planetary Palantir and flock cameras. And Americans, and I will say this wholeheartedly, full-chested, Americans are too damn stupid to understand that these people that you are defaulting to when you vote for Democrats and Republicans, they have no vested interest in your success, your livelihood, or your pursuit of happiness. And that's why I am not giving up on the Libertarian Party, even though the headwinds that we face, and there are plenty of them, and we get all this criticism, and we get detractors even within our own party that don't absolutely care about the rest of the country. They're in their own little state, and they can do what they want. And some people know who I'm talking about. But until Americans, and it's damn near going to have to be a revolution until they realize that you're going to have to do for self. And that includes in a voting booth and voting people like Jamie into office. This is we are on the collision course with tyranny and a calamity like nobody's ever seen. Like China's never seen it. You know, nobody's ever seen this before, and you know that's where we're going. So, all right,
Marcus. That being said, Jimmy, if you want to segue that and into your closing, we're over 1 hour here. Let everybody know. Give us your closing remarks. Let everybody know how they can get in touch with you, how they can help out. If you want to read this, go ahead.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah, great guest tonight. Compliments to the guy that booked Jamie for the show. If only we knew who that was. Anyways, Jamie, if you want to go and let people know how they get in touch with you, your closing remarks, please do this stuff.
You can find me on all social media platforms, Jamie Frost Remmey, Remmey for Congress. My website is jamiefrostremmey.com. I'm looking for volunteers. So anyone who can be in the Bucks County area any weekend from now until the end of July. 4th of July is going to be a really, really big weekend for us because of our proximity to Philadelphia and the 250th. We will definitely have a lot of events. So I'm looking to put out about 5 different teams for different events throughout my district so that we can collect signatures. I think that we have the opportunity to collect thousands of signatures that weekend. So extra help would be really appreciated. So anyone who thinks they can come up, please contact me. We'll figure out a place for you to stay if you're coming in from far away. We have people that would be willing to put you up to help out. So please contact me either through social media or through my website. Thank you. Thanks so much for having me on, guys. Thanks, Joe, for reaching out to me to bring me out. I really appreciate it. I know I'm not much of a politician. I don't talk like a politician. I don't dress like a politician. I don't have polished talking points, but I do have a lot of principles. I have a lot of passion, and I love where I live, and I love this country, and I love freedom, and I'm sick of what's happening in Washington, and I want to go there to disrupt some things.
Awesome. Tub.
All right, so let me just say this. I think that you are very much right in that we just, excuse the way I put this, we just need regular people in government. So we do need somebody like you to just be like, hey, listen, I'm not raised up for this. I'm not perfect. I wasn't pruned for this. I wasn't made for this. I just feel like we've had enough. And you kind of come across as we've had enough. And I don't have to be perfect. Don't be perfect for this. We see what happens when the ones who are perfect for this. We've seen where they've gotten us. So I would highly suggest that people would jump into what you're doing for just that reason. We need some real regular folk, not Marcus regular.
Yeah.
So we need some good regular people involved.
Not California regular.
Yeah, California has nothing regular.
All right.
So yes,
Well,
we do thank Joe.
Well, that
for
being
keeping on.
said,
all right. I don't have much to say because everybody knows where I stand on a lot of issues, and I'm the only real libertarian. But I will say, go to that link that we have posted. Jamie Frost Remmey /donate. Put your money where your memes are. Let's get it done. Let's elect libertarians. Vote libertarian. I don't understand why you people continuously elect these people that get us into endless wars and endless spending. If there's a reason to get rid of the Department of Education, it's the fact that people refuse to not vote for Democrats and Republicans because the government itself
that's
is
a perfect example.
all right. With that being said, Jamie, do you have any further closing words or anything else that you
I
want to
just
say?
want to say thank you so much. And all of the recent attention that I've gotten on social media. Thank you, Jeremy Todd, for promoting my campaign. And thank you to Dan McKnight from Defend the Guard for also, promoting my campaign as well. I'm so thankful to have had the opportunity to spend some time with some serious freedom fighters in this liberty movement. And I'm really excited to see what this campaign has to bring.
Awesome. I want to say
We all said it. Now what?
listen, thank you to Eric. Thank you to Tub for coming on and doing your due diligence for liberty. You guys are fair to adequate, and I appreciate that from you.
Well,
Listen, if we're fair to adequate, you don't even measure. You're just the guy in the garage, but you really are just the guy in the garage.
Eric's in the garage too, and you're in the outhouse. So I think we're on equal footing now.
Listen, I'm gonna talk. Wait a minute. Aren't we supposed to let her go so that we can close this mess up? So she doesn't be a part of this.
Jamie.
Thank you, Jamie. I hope Tub bored you enough
hang out
that you get
backstage.
some good sleep. All right. Yeah. With that being said, as we always end our podcast, the Black Powder Podcast, the only real libertarian podcast, and I'm gonna leave this up to Eric and Tub to say the second part. Watch how they do this off rhythm, because this is what they do. I would say to you, live free
or die.
Off rhythm, like I said, gonna do it.